Welcome to Talking Crew, an unofficial Motley Crue podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Humphrey, where I talk all things in the world of Motley Crue. This is episode 41 this week, ranking the Motley Crue studio albums. But first, this week in Motley news, not a whole lot of it. Tommy Lee was on a clip from Access TV playing with ex lead singer of Van Halen, Sammy Hagar, and ex bass guitar player of Van Halen, Michael Anthony. They were playing the Montrose song Rock Candy. Montrose was a band that Sammy was in prior to Van Halen. So this was actually really cool. I can't find a whole video clip of it because I'm not on Access TV. I don't have it. But hopefully I can find it on YouTube. And if you can find it, help me post it on the comments section because I'd love to see the whole song. And that's it in Motley news. Like I said, not a whole lot of it, which kind of figured with the holidays, the band's on vacation. They won't do another show until June. I'm wanting to say the 21st in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Even ex-members haven't really done a whole lot this week. I'm talking about Mick Mars or John Corabi. So it's been a quiet week, which is kind of what I thought. So hopefully stuff will start getting revved up as we hit the month of June. So let's go right into this week's episode. Episode 41, ranking the Motley Crue studio albums. On this week's episode, it's been a while since I've done a ranking. In fact, the last ranking I did was the ranking of the studio album covers, which is episode 20, in case you missed it. On that episode, I said I would do a rankings of the studio albums after I finished all the studios, which I've done. So, as I rank them, I will tell you what episode these albums you can listen to my reviews or watch the reviews will be on. So let's do this. So coming in at number 9 is Motley Crue's New Tattoo. There's two songs on this album that I'm not my favorites. I don't skip any of these songs when I say this, but they just are just kind of there. The demos that are those two songs are absolutely fantastic. I talk about this album on episode 25, so if you missed this one, go back and check it out. Coming in at number 8 is Motley Crue's Saints of Los Angeles album. I talk about this one on episode 33, and kind of like New Tattoo, there's two songs I'm not a big fan of, although like I said, I don't skip them. In fact, I sing along like I always do. It's just those two songs. So find out what those two songs are on episode 33. And now, coming in at number 7 is MC94. This is the first album and the only album they did with John Corabi. Talk about this album on episode 16. There is one song that I'm not a big fan of. But like I said, I don't skip it. But yeah. So go back and check out episode 16 to find out what song that was. But yeah, I think it's a great record all the way through except for that one song. But yeah, it's still great. Alright, so here we go. Sorry, there's my notes. And coming in at number 6, and that is Motley Crue's Generation Swine, which I talk about on episode 17. I love this album. In fact, on episode 17, you'll hear me really gloat about this album. But there is one song that I'm not a big fan of, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Crue fans that know which song I'm talking about. But yeah, definitely go check out episode 17. And now we're into the classic Motley Crue 5 albums. So here we go. Now this may ruffle a few feathers when I say this one. So coming in at number 5 is Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love, the debut album. I love this album. All these albums I love. But there is one song that kind of dings it and makes it drop down to number 5. If you've been watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, you already know what song I'm talking about. But if you didn't, check out episode 3, and I'll tell you which one it is. But yeah, still a great record. Absolutely fantastic. Now, coming in at number 4 is Motley Crue's Theater of Pain. I absolutely love this album. This is the second album I ever bought, and it's the Theater of Pain album. There is one song that I don't like. I mean, I don't like. It's not my favorite. There you go. That's a better word. Again, I don't skip it. I turn it up. I sing along to it. But yeah, so check out Theater of Pain, episode 6. Coming in at number 3 is the very first album I ever bought with my own money. Motley Crue's Girls, 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 and that's why it ranks up so high, because I still love this album to death. This is what made me become a Crue head to begin with. I talk about this album on episode 8, so go back and check this out. There is one song that it's not my favorite, but again, I don't skip it. I turn it up and sing along. But yeah, definitely check out episode 8. And now we're down to the top 2. So coming in at number 2 is Motley Crue's Shout at the Devil, which I talk about on episode 5. Great record all the way through. Fantastic. There is not a skip song or my least favorite song on this. This is top to bottom. Absolutely fantastic. Very cool. I love this album. And if you're keeping track, you already know which one's number 1. And that is Motley Crue's Dr. Feelgood. I talk about Dr. Feelgood on episode 10. So go back and check this out. Again, to me, from beginning to end, just like Shout, there's no skip song, there's no sucky song, there's no fillers on it. It's just absolutely freaking amazing. And the reason why it's number 1, which is probably what you're wondering, why is it number 1? It is number 1 because when I bought this in 1989, when it came out, I was already a huge Crue fan. But when I bought Dr. Feelgood, it exploded. I went back and got Shout at the Devil and Too Fast for Love. It made me start buying more music magazines because Motley Crue was in them. Or posters, all kinds of stuff. It just exploded. And I've been a big, huge Motley Crue fan ever since, to this day. I'm still love this band. Alright, so there's my rankings. Homework this week. You rank these records 1 through 9 or 9 through 1, whichever way you want to do it. I want to see what you guys think and post them up. And that's it for this week's episode. Next week, I'm actually going to take next Friday off. I'm actually going to go on vacation, but I will be back in 2 weeks on June the 14th to be exact, with episode 42, Motley Crue live in Mexico City, Mexico, 2012 review. Again, I told you in last week's episode where I did the Paris, France show in 2012. There's a lot happened in the timeline, plus the stage changed, and you can kind of compare and contrast between it and the co-headlining tour they did with Kiss, so in Mexico City. So you get a little difference. And that's it for this week. It's a really short episode. I want to thank everybody who's gave me thumbs ups, who's joined the podcast either on Facebook or Spotify or YouTube. If you know anybody that's a Motley Crue fan, send them this way. Hit the share button, copy the link, and send it to them. Tell them go on Google, Firefox, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and type in Talking Crue. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button yourself. Give me a thumbs up. I really greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to do your homework. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. And you just took a ride on the wild side.